All right, there's no other way to explain what's going on right now other than we're living in a simulation. Gold and silver shed $10 trillion in market cap in less than 72 hours. Gold dumped more than $1,000 an ounce and silver fell by more than 35%. But the craziest part is, yesterday, midday, their fortunes changed magically with gold surging 5% back to $4,800 an ounce, and silver rose 20% from its lows in just 12 hours. I never want to hear a gold bug ever tell me again that Bitcoin is too volatile. Gold and silver are trading like meme stocks right now. And tell me how this makes sense. In the middle of winter, natural gas fell by 21%, one of its biggest drawdowns ever. 40% of the nation's smartest students are disabled. Giannis went out in Milwaukee, and like Gandalf the Grey, Odell has come back to Twitter. Odell the White. Donald Trump says that he's helped crypto more than anybody. And there's people out there calling for Bitcoin to fall well below 70K. With Bitcoin having its fourth consecutive down month, one of its worst stretches in history. What is going on? But let me give you a glimmer of hope. In the midst of madness, there's a glimmer of hope for Bitcoin, and things aren't looking as good for gold. With the business cycle turning with the manufacturing ISM coming in at 52.6. Manufacturing expanded for the first time after contracting for almost 2 years in a row. And Bitcoin is positively correlated with the business cycle. That and the US administering a supply side shock on raw materials and hard assets on the rest of the world. Today, I'm going to give you a likely explanation as to why Bitcoin is falling and why gold and commodities are about to start to fall. And I'm also going to show you why in moments like these, I zoom out. I look at the big picture. I don't get focused on things in the moment. And from my perspective, things are still bullish for Bitcoin. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Let's go. All right, let's start with the positive. Massive news for Bitcoin. The manufacturing ISM number came in at 52.6 versus the expected 48.6, which is the fastest expansion in over 4 years. After more than 2 years of straight contraction in the manufacturing sector, we're now seeing a business cycle turn, which means investors and people are now confident in the growth prospects in America. And in terms of Bitcoin, there's diehard maximalists out there that have correlated the business cycle with Bitcoin's price, showing that clearly when the business cycle turns, so does Bitcoin. When businesses are optimistic, Bitcoin grows. And right now, businesses are booming. Why? Because of things like these, like Trump in the United States reaching a deal with India. They're going to lower tariffs from 25% to 18%. India is committing to buy over $500 billion worth of goods from the United States, and they're not buying oil from Russia. What about Apple producing all of their iPhone chips in America? 19 billion chips.
To make 19 billion chips for Apple in 24 factories across 12 different states.
This is bullish for America. You don't lower inflation by decreasing demand, but by increasing supply. And that's exactly what's happening around the world. This supply side boom is what's causing people all across the globe to not believe that inflation is going to be sticky moving forward. And this spells doom for both silver and for gold.
Economist Stephen Moore joins me now. I want to talk markets for a second. So why the big sell-off? First of all, gold and silver, a sell-off over the weekend. Bitcoin, a sell-off over the last couple of months, which has taken it from, well, I don't know where, to all the way down to 77. Why the sell-off?
Well, this is just speculation, Stuart. But first of all, I think that the new incoming Fed chairman, Kevin Warsh, is a spectacular pick. He's an inflation hawk. I think he will return us to sound money and increase affordability. And look, one of the reasons that the gold price and the silver price went up is that people buy gold and silver as a rush to safety and a hedge against inflation. But if you think inflation is going to be tame, then guess what? You don't need to buy gold and silver. So that is my hypothesis. I don't have the evidence of that, but it is clear that this new Fed chairman is going to be, I think, excellent. I think he's going to hold inflation down. We're going to make the dollar strong again. And if the dollar is strong, then guess what? The gold price typically goes down.
I don't follow Stephen Moore, but I agree with this take. Inflation is projected to go down and not up. And we're looking at more of a deflationary economy than an inflationary economy. Gold and silver are a doom and gloom trade. When inflation fears go up, well, their purchasing power goes up. But the purchasing power, sort of like equity in your home, is only good on paper until you actually cash it in. But here's the problem with silver and gold. You can't actually cash it in. That's the difference between a pet rock and real technology.
I know a guy right now trying to get rid of like 10,000 pieces of silver. He can't.
Really?
He can't get a real offer on it. He's getting a 30% discount below the market.
Damn.
Like this is people see it just spiking up like this, and they're like, "Oh my God, gold's at $100." Go try to sell a fucking shitload of gold. Go try to sell $10 million worth of gold today, and watch what happens. You're going to have offers 20 and 30% below market,
right?
Because you want to sell your gold now. You're showing your hand, putting your flag up, say, "Surrender. I want my $100." You're not going to get $100 for your gold, not in scale.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
and you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Much less in 5 minutes. Gold, same thing. It's got to go get it authenticated. It's got to get validated. It's got to get, dude, there's a lot of fake gold, okay? Then somebody's going to have to pay you the money, and then you got to get it out of storage, okay? The Bitcoin, dude, the Bitcoin is a real thing, bro. Bing!
Right.
I can have it tomorrow. I can trade it back to you in 5 minutes. Like, that to me is real, because Bitcoin to me is not just money. It is technology. Unlike gold or silver or even paper stocks, okay? Paper stocks is a technology, but they can just keep printing the paper forever.
I don't agree with Grant Cardone on a lot, but I do agree with him here. Bitcoin plays well in a deflationary thesis on the world of improving technology, improving productivity, and improving hope in the business economy. And with where things are headed in America, I am more bullish on Bitcoin than I have been in the past, with things like the Clarity Act under the works and soon to be completed, according to not only Donald Trump, but Scott Bessent, who I actually trust a little more. Here's the latest remarks from the president on where crypto is going.
Crypto is a big thing, and they like it. A lot of people like it. The people behind me like it. My sons are handling that. My family is handling it. And I guess they get investments from different people, but I'm not. I have all I can handle right now with Iran and with Russia and Ukraine and with all the things we're doing. So I don't know exactly, other than, I'm a big crypto person. I'm the one that probably helped crypto more than anybody, because I believe in it. And the reason I believe in it is because if we don't do it, Scott, I think we can say then China's going to do it, right?
Yes, sir.
If we don't do crypto, then China's going to do it. And it's just like AI. We're leading AI by a lot. And if we weren't leading, China would have led. They're very capable. They're very good. What do you have to say about that?
You've made America the digital asset capital of the world. We did the Genius Act for stable coins. Many of the people standing up here are working on the Clarity bill to
I hope it gets done.
Market structure.
Yeah.
And we're bringing U.S. best practices to an exciting new industry, digital assets, innovation, and it spreads everywhere.
I believe when the Clarity Act comes out, there's going to be a lot more products that come out because there's going to be a lot more clarity on what's possible. And one of the things that's clear right now is that you don't want to sell your Bitcoin. You can unlock liquidity in your Bitcoin today without selling your Bitcoin. This product has been around for years. In fact, Ledn's been the leader in this since 2018, allowing you to unlock liquidity in your Bitcoin without selling it. You borrow against the Bitcoin amount up to 50%, and you get fiat in your account in less than 6 hours. The application takes just 2 minutes, and they are the most trusted source, issuing over $10 billion worth of loans to tens of thousands of customers all across the world. Get started in as little as 2 minutes by going to learn.ledn.io/simply. There's no credit check, and loans start at just 12.4%, about half of what you could get for a credit card. Oh, speaking of me trusting Scott Bessent more than I do the president, here's what he had to say about us getting our sovereignty back.
Sir, as you always say, economic security is national security, and a country does not have sovereignty if we don't have control of our critical minerals, don't have control of our steel production and our industrial base. And thanks to the work of everyone here through your leadership, this was a public-private partnership that only you could have assembled, and we are taking back our sovereignty, and we are going to have this Vault project, a strategic mineral reserve, and I can't tell you how innovative and exciting this is, and the level of security it is going to give us going forward is phenomenal.
One of the ways that you can get your sovereignty back is by working with a coach at the Bitcoin Way. They'll help you to unlock maximal sovereignty by allowing you to run a Bitcoin node and becoming your own bank, having your own keys in your own wallet and doing so privately, safely, securely, and confidently. Schedule a free 30-minute consultation with the team at thebitcoinway.com/simplybitcoin. On days like these, I like to take a step back. Understand that I'm not looking at Bitcoin in a 5-year, 5-month, or 5-week range, but a 10-year, 20-year range. And what I know to be true aligns with some of the thoughts that Matt Hogan, the CIO from Bitwise, says here. The structural elements are in place for there to be continued debasement and continued money printing. Bitcoin is a 30x investment at worst and 100x investment when you look at the history and how these things have played out in the past.
You said Bitcoin could trade in the millions of dollars, right? Many millions.
Easy.
You actually wrote
you think that one Bitcoin might be worth $6.5 million in the next 20 years. I mean, that's obviously like not an exact number, but you have a thesis or logic for that. Most people will say, Matt, I thought you were a wise dude, but sounding a bit crazy here. So you say one Bitcoin might be worth $6.5 million in the next 20 years. How do you get to that number?
All you need to get to that number is for the store of value market to 10x again. As I discussed, it 10x over the last 20 years. All you're expecting is that process to continue. It will 10x again. And you expect Bitcoin to come to be roughly as large as gold. If those two things happen, you end up with $6+ million Bitcoin. That's not a big jump. You're not suggesting a huge difference. You're just suggesting what's been happening will continue to happen for another 20 years.
How could you be wrong on that?
Well, you could be wrong on it in two ways. You have two bets. You could be wrong on each of those bets. Gold could not cede market share to Bitcoin. Now that runs against most of history. Like most of modern history is digital things stealing market share from physical things. But you could be wrong on that. Gold could vacuum up all of that opportunity. Or you could have the store of value market not continue to grow. And the primary reason for that is if governments stopped printing debt and printing money. I'm just very skeptical. I don't see.
How is that possible?
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
It seems to be impossible. It seems to be impossible. It's not impossible. You see it in some places. We've seen it in Argentina recently. They went on a true austerity bent. It's not impossible, but it looks impossible in the current system where the impetus just seems to be spending more money. And that's part of the reason you want to do this. And what if I'm wrong by half? What if it gets to 3 million and it's a 30x? That's actually not so bad either.
So on days like these, I sit back, I turn on the DCA like Checkmate says here, and I relax. Because I understand whether it's a deflationary boom or an inflationary bust, Bitcoin is going to tell us exactly where things are going. And the latest print on the business manufacturing cycle has me bullish on confidence coming back to the private sector, and that has spelled well for Bitcoin at every other moment in the past. One of the ways you can participate in Bitcoin now is by owning a Bitcoin mining rig. With the Bitcoin difficulty adjustment coming down, well, you can earn more sats with less competition. But don't figure all this out on your own. Just buy a Bitcoin mining rig through SAS Mining. They'll host it for you and send sats directly to your wallet with no middlemen and no markups and 100% clean, renewable energy sources. Use the QR code to get started today. Thanks for rocking with me, everybody. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. I do believe that a structural change is happening as inflation fears are calming all across the globe. As more countries reach tariff agreements, as more investment gets poured into the United States, and as the supply side shock comes in, well, this actually diminishes the purchasing power of gold and silver. Don't get caught in the euphoria. Understand what's happening underneath of the surface and make wise decisions. Zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Happy stacking.